Alright guys, Criminal here, back to you with another MK1 video. In this one I'm gonna be doing an updated playable character tier list, just to update it after the patch that has been done recently. Now the changes that were made were mostly to just two characters and two cameos like Baraka, Raiden, Kung Lao and Cyrax, but there have been a few other changes and just characters that were affected by the nerfs to these cameos to make a big enough impact on the meta that I feel like I should be making a new tier list. So yeah, this is my updated tier list as for 31 of October. Post the October patch that saw massive nerfs to Cyrax and nerfs to Kung Lao that ultimately kept them the best cameo in the game by far. So because they were not enough. So yeah, just let me start by saying this is my opinion, but I do feel like most of this is actually pretty accurate, like considering other tier lists I've seen. Other than the top five, there will be like here. I'm not gonna try and rank all of them according in order. I will try my best, but it's not gonna be ordered mainly. Like some of these things will be interchangeable, except for like the top three maybe. So yeah, take this with a grain of salt. Again, it's just my opinion based on my experience and watching tournaments and seeing like pro players and high level players and fighting in high level myself. So another thing I want to mention is just I have the theories you can see, like none of them have busted on them or something like that because I don't feel there is any character in the roster now that is actually strong. I mean, I feel like the problem with this game is it's just most characters are actually too weak. Like I feel like characters are just too weak in this game, and there are only a few who are actually good. And the good ones just look completely busted compared to the others because the others are just not good enough. So yeah, with these things out of the way, let's start. Like, let me just arrange this some way, just to make it so it's more random. All right, starting off with General Shao. I mean, I would say he's solid to be honest. I don't feel like he's too weak or too strong. Like he actually managed to escape the Cyrax nerf pretty well because he was already only using Kung Lao, and Kung Lao is pretty much the same thing as he was. He's not really changed that much, so he's still exceptionally powerful. The best cameo in the game by a wide margin. So Shao's perfect partner is still very very strong. He has some solid normals when he's out, without his axe. He has some pretty good range with his axe. His standing too is actually a very good button. An 8 frame high with insane range. So yeah, he has many pluses in the skill to be honest, but damage output of his it's average, nothing too special about that. And with the axe he really gets struggles to actually get a hit in because the overhead and lows he has are both way too punishable. So yeah, that's I feel comfortable putting him in like solid. I don't think he's actually solid is it too high for this guy? Nah, I feel like solid is pretty fair for this guy. Fair assessment. Fucking bugs. Next up we have Giras. I would say Giras is pretty damn good. Actually, let me put him in strong. Giras is actually a very powerful character. He has a very good command grab that lets them like play the mix-up game very well. He has a low starter that you within Kung Lao. You can like meet the Kung Lao low hat to just make it so it's safe. So you can get a low combo starter that is completely safe. And yeah, he has an overhead that is good for the mind game, but it's actually a very bad button that I don't recommend using at all. Just stick to the low in the command grab if you want to open your opponent up, or set up a basso in advance to actually make it safe, because it's minus 25 on block and it's pretty reactable. Regardless, he has the hourglasses that basically give him an infinite amount of breakers. If you manage your hourglasses correctly, you can pretty much just have a breaker at all times, which is a unique quarter circle back 3. The move will just freezes time in the middle of your enemy's combos. Like he can just do a combo breaker himself and actually restore all the health he lost in the 3 seconds that he rewinds time in. So yeah, he's exceptionally strong. His combo damage is actually very, very good. Some of the highest in the game. He's getting 40% for pretty much any hit. What else can we say about him? He's got some pretty decent range. Frame data is nothing exceptional, but not bad. He has the sniping move, the quarter circle back 3, the non-amplified version. Just the normal version of the breaker move that just snipes you completely and freezes you in time if you weren't blocking in the same moment. So it's really powerful. Giras is just very strong. I feel like he's exceptional in pretty much all aspects. He's kind of a jack of all trades. I don't think he really has too many weaknesses other than the fact that his overhead shouldn't be punishable on block. It leads to zero reward, so it shouldn't be punishable, and especially not minus 25. That's just insane overkill. So yeah, I think he's very very strong. I probably like walking around the top 5 range. I'll see once I assemble the other top tiers. We could say, but I don't feel Geras is pretty damn strong. Other than the 4-3 needing like frame data adjustments, I feel like this character is pretty much set to for when the buffs come. Like he could just stay the same pretty much, and he will still be a pretty damn solid character. Because I will mention this, guys. I feel like all characters in the roster will need serious buffs. Like the characters are just not good enough in this game. Frame data is way too bad. Combo damage, certain characters need some adjustments. Some need damage nerfs, like this guy right here and Johnny Cage. But most of the characters really need buffs. Really, like desperately, especially frame data stuff. Next up, we have Havoc. Okay, I guess he got hurt very badly. Unlike these two who were using Kung Lao, and they still use Kung Lao, this guy really needed Cyrax. He really needed Cyrax. You can make it work with Kano, but Kano is nowhere near what Cyrax is. He has very good frame data, I will give him that. Like most of the things he's doing are actually plus. He has multiple overheads and lows in his kit. He has a tech throw in his back two string, so he has some nice tools on block, but just he lost all of his block viability using Cyrax. Comboing into the hand now is actually pretty damn difficult. You need Kano to do that, so I would say the best option you've got right now after the Cyrax nerf is Kano. So yeah, that's just something I'm gonna do in this tier list, just as a heads up for the next few minutes. Just I'm gonna be mentioning the ideal cameo in my opinion for all characters here. So yeah. Next up, yeah. So Havoc, I feel like it's pretty okay. I don't think his placement changed that much because other characters also suffered. All of the bottom tiers really needed Cyrax. So I feel like they've all been hit pretty hard. Most of the roster was hit really hard by this. Next up, we have Kenshi. He is better than Giras for sure. Very powerful character. A contender for like the top two, even top one. Very good character. Problem I have with him is just no block viability, so we just have to commit to whiff punishing. But he has very good neutral because of the demon drop actually being a pretty solid move unless your opponent jumps or just moves, because on whiff it's way too punishable. Like that shit takes a millennia to recover, which is crazy. But he has insanely powerful mids that allow him to actually get a hit fishing for whiff punishes. But because he really relies on his good range on normals, he faces issues against this character because she has better range than him. Even. So the matchup against her is actually one of the only negative ones Kenshi has. But and because she's so common, I have to take that into consideration. But Kenshi is still extremely strong. But Kenshi was also really hurt badly by the Cyrax nerf. Kenshi could actually set up guaranteed center on block in the corner and actually set up almost a guaranteed center on block, which is insanely powerful. You can still use this guy, and he's still probably the ideal cameo, like for the center confirms from any hit pretty much. You can get center off of the forward throw, the EX version. Like you can get center in a combo, which is insanely powerful. You can like sandwich them between you and the puppet, and then they're pretty much dead. So yeah, before because of the Cyrax nerf, he got weaker, but it's not. It actually got a lot of value compared to others because the other top tiers were actually pretty badly hurt by Cyrax's nerf. Other than one of them, who is fucking busted still, and two of them actually, regardless. So yeah, Kenshi, I feel pretty confident in this placement. He's a very powerful character. We all know that by now. Most likely top five, top three, possibly. I feel like it's very likely. Top one, I don't think so. I feel like number one is very clear, but he is a very strong character. Next up, we have Kitana. I mean, I can put her in no, but I feel like she's okay. I haven't faced enough good Kitanas to see what she can actually do, but from seeing Dragon and the way he plays her, I do feel like she's got a lot of issues. She has pretty much no ways to actually keep herself safe on block for most of her strings. Like most of them are actually punishable on block because her frame data is terrible and her strings are not good either, like hitbox wise. And because of that, she actually has to commit to a trade. Like she has to commit to like doing the EX version of her fan or the EX version of the quarter circle back three to just trade with you once you try punishing your unsafe string because she just has no way to keep herself safe on block. Her combo damage mid screen is very average. In the corner it can actually become pretty good. When you're using someone like Sub-Zero for raw damage, you can actually get a lot of damage with wind bomb confirms, but she really needs the help on block, much more than you can actually allow yourself to use someone like Sub-Zero. So yeah, she really needs help in a lot of regards. I do feel like she's one of the bottom five for sure. She's not very good. It's just unfortunate, but she's not a very good character. And yeah, she could really use some help, especially frame data stuff. And I would give her also a low in her kit somewhere because I'm actually not low. I'm pretty sure she has no overheads. Like I don't think she has a single overhead in her kit, not even one. Like not even a string ender that just launches to the ground and leads to nothing. Not even of that sort. Just no overhead at all. Because of that, her mix-up game is pretty much only just uh, punch grab because you just block low against this character and she can't do anything. So yeah, she really struggles to open you up. She has to commit to the zoning game, and she's actually not even that good of a zoner. So Yeah, Kitana is here. She's not very good, unfortunately. Kung Lao is strong. Kung Lao is an insane character. One of the best characters in the game, for sure. He's just insanely powerful. He has an overhead starter, he has a low starter. When using Goro, he has the most busted special move in the entire game. Yes, over Cento stance is just completely ridiculous. His armor wake up is already -7 on block, which is completely safe in this game. Like nothing can punish that for a full combo. The best you get is a poke with Johnny Cage because Johnny Cage is him. But regardless, Kung Lao is an overhead starter, a low starter, and his armor move makes it so he's a very bad matchup for Kenshi actually. He's very good against all characters who have gaps in their strings because you can just mash that shit like hell. And if you're using Goro with him, which most Kung Laos will do, you can just summon Goro on block or on hit, and you're actually really gaining a lot of value. On block, you'll stay safe after doing an armor wake up and negating all options they had, and on hit, you get full combos. So it's an armored launcher that is plus on block with Goro. Completely ridiculous. There is no way to actually attack this character. If you're attacking him, you need a character that doesn't have gaps or is extremely plus to the point where you can make reads on the armor. So Johnny Cage is your best bet almost against this guy. Other than that, it's very tough to block. He has insane mobility thanks to the dive kicks. When they whiff, they're just instant recovery. So yeah, he's just very strong. He's a jack of all trades. He doesn't lack anything. He's just an insanely powerful character. Some of the highest damage in the entire game actually. He's doing like 42% from any hit in the game. So yeah, just a very powerful character. Insanely good. I really want that armor move to actually get nerfed. One of the only nerfs I actually want in this game is the armor move because I don't feel like an armored launcher that is plus on block is okay. I don't think it is. Just from the nature of armor moves, they shouldn't be safe on block in general. When you're using your cameo, fine, make them safe, but no way in hell they should be plus. Next up we have Lee May. I will put her here. She's not good. She's not good, man. There's no what else to say. You don't fight Lee May just because she's not a good character. She has only one overhead in her kit, and it's not very good. Like the forward kick, pretty much the arrow black kick from MK11. It's not good. Very easy to block. It's insanely reactable. So yeah, she's not very good on block. To actually get good damage, she relies on getting a hit confirm into the lanterns, which is not that easy. Like with certain cameras like Scorpion, we can make her be an extremely high damage character, but she really needs the help on blocking in neutral because she's not a very good zoner. Like she has only one projectile that is a high unless you amplify it. So she lacks a lot of tools. She's pretty mediocre in all aspects of the game. So I don't feel like she's even okay, to be honest. I feel like I would put someone of the likes of Havoc over her. And yeah, I do feel like she needs some help right now. Actually, do I put Havoc in solid? Havoc is not a bad character. Havoc's frame data and his low starter and the tech grab he is actually pretty solid. I'll put him here. He is better than Shao, I think. He has many good tools actually. This character has a lot of tools. If Cyrax was still here, like I'm pretty sure I would put him here. If Cyrax was still the same, but because of the Cyrax stuff he got hurt hard. So Lime, no, I don't feel like this character is good at all. Is Kitana better than her? Perhaps you can interchange these two. I don't really feel like it's much of an issue because both of them pretty much suck. So I'm just gonna do it like this. I don't really mind. Next up we have Liu Kang. I'll put him pretty good. I feel like this character is solid. I think he's the only character in the roster who actually got zero changes at all. Like not even bug fixes and shit like that. I don't remember seeing him at all in the patch notes. So yeah, he still has insanely high damage, probably the highest damage in the entire game, considering how practical it is, like pretty much from any hit. Insanely high damage output. When using Kung Lao, you can actually set up a lot of good block strings using the pressure, like his plus frames. He has a lot of plus frames in his kit actually. He's got an armor breaking string, which is pretty good, but I do feel like his forward 4 should have been a low because he has zero lows in his kit almost. He has only one in one of his strings and he has another overhead, but he has no mix really. He's just a punch grab type of guy. Like you do a hit, they block it, you go for a grab or for another hit. That's pretty much everything you can do. But he's a very good wave punisher because of his insane range. He has very good range. Not insane on the level of Kenshi or Ashura, but very good range regardless. He is a very good character. I don't think there's much else to say. He's probably the best zoner in the entire game. Like he's one of the most competent zoners in the game. He's insanely good from long range. So yeah, Liu Kang is very good. When used with the Kung Lao cameo, you also get throw combo. So just a very solid character. You have to stay on your guard against him because any hit, including grabs, will lead to like 30% damage. So 30% if it's a grab. If it's a regular hit, it can lead to even 50 if they wish to spend some bar. So yeah, this character's damage is absolutely ridiculous. Very cool. Best fatality in the game, by the way. Actually, two best fatalities in the game. Insane fatalities. So yeah, I'll have to make a video fishing for that black hole. It's so good. And next up we have Melina. She's pretty good. I don't feel like she's bad or anything. I don't feel like she's too good or something like that. Do I put Liu Kang over her? Personally, I really struggle against this character, but I will put her here just because of its personal preference. You can interchange them. I feel like they're pretty similar in power level. Both of these are pretty good characters. Melina, she has a lot of good lows and all overheads in her kit. The ball roll actually makes it so we really need to be careful with some characters who have a lot of recovery on her projectiles. Like Kenshi with his demon drop, if Melina blocks it even from full screen, she can punish you with a ball roll. And if it's dead already, but Melina can even make it even easier. She has her size that are not good at all. The size are the most annoying thing about this character. They should go full screen. I don't understand why they don't. Really stupid. And again, I will say, I don't feel like any character in this roster is actually good enough. Like, Kung Lao, Giras, and Kenshi, I will say they are okay. I don't think they're too busted or anything like that. I feel like most characters in this game, these three, compared to the rest of the roster, look very, very powerful on paper, but it's because just characters are underpowered in this game. They're not good enough. And I blame mainly on the cameos just being really bad. Like, the cameos are not good at all. Only this guy is actually good enough. All of the rest could use some buffs. This guy, you can make an argument for maybe Striker, but even him could use some buffs in my opinion. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that again because it's important to actually not mention that. But Melina, extremely high damage character, some of the highest, if not straight up the highest damage in the entire game. Very practical too, from any hit pretty much. And yeah, problem with her is just when you become good with flawless blocking and up blocking, you can actually punish a lot of her moves. Like the amplified size, if you up block them, they're a free punish. The whatchamacallit, the string where she just pounces you with her blades and starts ground and pounding with her size. That's one's also punishable by up blocks. The ball roll, of course, is death on block, like always. So yeah, she's a pretty solid character. I feel like she's pretty good, but she's nothing too special. She's not strong or anything like that. I feel like she's good, nothing too crazy. Johnny Cage, the only character in this game where I say he needs nerfs, and that's very good. I don't feel like this character needing nerfs is a very good thing for the game because we don't have characters that are good enough in this game. I want you to understand that. The nerfs he needs are only frame data, by the way. The frame data on this guy is absolutely ridiculous and unfair. That is something I can accept. Like, no matter the game you're judging according to, any fighting game, no, I haven't seen a character with such good frame data in a while. Like, his frame data is absolutely ridiculous. Everything is like +5. It's insane. So yeah, Johnny, best character in the game. I don't feel like it's even that comparable, to be honest. I don't feel like he's in a separate tier or anything like that, but he is a very good character. Insanely powerful. He really didn't get hit that hard by the Cyrax nerf because Kung Lao was probably the ideal cameo already, so he wasn't struggling with that. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention Li Mei, ideal cameo. I would probably say Kung Lao, just help on block in neutral. She could use it really well. Maybe Sarina could actually be a very valid pick as well. Most people I've seen go for Frost, which is good. Liu Kang is Kung Lao, very easy. Melina, I've seen a lot of people gravitate towards Scorpio. I respect that. Just go for the max damage route, like maximize your damage with this guy. Personally, what I would pick, I'm not really using Melina a lot to be honest with you, but I feel like she could make some really good use of someone like Kung Lao too. Like Kung Lao is pretty much the ideal cameo for everybody. Just helping neutral, like using Kung Lao, you can actually close the gap so quickly, which is another thing why Johnny is so powerful. You can just set up a Basso, do a shadow kick roll from full screen, and they block it, and then they're forced to actually deal with your pressure because the Basso will attack them after the kick, and if they try attacking me, it can trade and lead to a full combo, and if they block it, I'm plus, so I can keep on my offense. Excuse me for a second. Alright, back to it. I had to adjust for a second, just turn on the fan. What a shit, man, I swear to God. So yeah, Johnny Cage, insanely powerful character again. I would say very comfortably best in the game. I don't feel like it's up for much of a discussion, to be honest, because this guy, Raiden and Baraka, were already pretty comfortably above everybody else, and because Raiden and Baraka got hit really hard with nerfs, both their own nerfs and Cyrax nerfs, so yeah, this guy is now ruling the top by himself for sure. Kenshi also got a lot of value because of that, because some of his worst matchups were just due to Cyrax being so dominant, so now we can actually make some more work, and just many characters lost value because of Cyrax's nerf, and Kenshi is kinda the same, he can make it work with other cameos. Of course, he also got nerfed because Cyrax was the ideal pick. Cyrax still is the ideal pick, I would argue, but he is still insane, and he got value overall. And he also does more damage for some reason I don't understand. This guy Kenshi, like, he does 57% from his corner optimal, 55%, sorry, 55% from his corner optimal with Cento. Johnny's doing like 40% from any stray hit. It's insane. The damage these two have was absolutely ridiculous. But Johnny's main gimmick just sells why he's the best in the game for me by a confident margin is just the frame data, man. It's absolutely ludicrous. The frame data is unreal. So yeah, ideal cameo pick, I would say most likely Kung Lao. Either Kung Lao or Striker. You use whoever you want. Kung Lao is just very good to maximize neutral and blocks the pressure. Striker gives you a bit of everything really, and he does everything really well. So choose whatever you want. Really, you can choose anybody, any cameo. You can do a random select on cameos, and you can actually make him work. He's that powerful compared to the rest. I don't feel like he needs nerfs. I'll be honest with you. Like I feel like frame that I need some tuning down because I don't feel like +4 with a 9 frame mid is okay on everything. Like making a +4 on pretty much every button when he has a 9 frame mid makes it so you can't really attack this guy almost at all. So yeah, it is absolutely ridiculous. But I don't think he actually needs any other nerfs. I feel like the only thing he needs is frame data adjustments, just to make it so you can actually maybe trade a poke with his mid. Don't make him like 0 on block on everything now, because the main value of this character is frame data. He needs to be plus a lot. But if they just trash his frame data to like make his 1-1 -6 and shit like that, just keep it safe but not plus, this character could really die, man. And he needs the plus frames. Just tune them down for like +4 to +2 or +1, and I feel like we'll be fine. +2, +3 at max. +4 and +5 is too much for sure. So yeah, best character in the game, Johnny Cage. I don't think it's that close. Next up we have Raiden. Insanely powerful still. Of course he is very, very powerful. Actually, I just put him in strong. Yeah, I feel like this guy, strong as far as I'm concerned, man. Strong, the tier strong, is characters that if they were to buff the entire roster, which they should, these guys could stay the same, roughly the same, and they won't really suffer that much. Like they won't become just completely unviable if everybody got buffed. Because I feel like they're sort of the standard to where I want the bottom tiers to be. Like I want the bottom tiers to be about as powerful as these guys, as these five right here. This man maybe not. He's absolutely cracked compared to the rest of the game, but I wouldn't mind if everybody got as powerful as Johnny, to be honest, because I feel like they're gravitating towards making this game like everybody very, very weak and some characters solid. This is what it is right now. I want them to gravitate towards making every character very, very good and some busted. That's the best way to balance the game, in my opinion. Just make it so even the bottom tiers can actually compete because they have some nasty busted shit. This is the best way to balance the game. Like there's a retro game called JoJo's Heritage for the Future, the most busted game I've ever played, and that's why it's so fun. Every character can compete because of how powerful they are, except for like the banned tier characters who are just completely ridiculous and break the fundamental laws of the game. But that's not happening with this game. No character is this powerful, so there's no reason to actually hold back. Buff everybody, put them up on the level of these five. Now Raiden, ideal cameo now I would say is Kano actually, because Kano really gives him everything he could need. Either Kano or maybe like a Kano would really be the ideal pick, I think. Actually, I've been seeing a lot of Raidens in tournaments like gravitate towards Kano since the nerf. I've seen like a few, not major, not like ECT or shit like that, but a few really, really good players. I've seen most of them gravitate towards using Kano because Kano's knives are very good for combos. The Kano ball can actually make it so you can really get chip damage setups still, like with the Kano ball. They're not guaranteed like they were with Cyrax, but they're still almost unattackable. Like you really can't really interrupt them. Only thing you can do is maybe an armor move, and if it's extremely fast, maybe you'll get a hit in. But most of the time, the Raiden can actually block by the time you can armor. So very good setups. Raiden is still very solid. Only thing that changed about this guy himself, without including Cyrax nerf, is just he got the scaling nerfs. So now his optimal combos by himself like do 40 instead of 45. But I mean, using Cyrax before that, he was doing 52 from any hit. Now, if you use Cyrax and this guy together, they're doing around 45 from any hit. In the corner, maybe even 48. So, while the scaling nerfs are extreme, from his optimal starter, like the forward 3 is still doing a lot because the normals are still doing the same damage and with no scaling. But just the shocker now has increased scaling. So, if you can actually do a combo like without spending the shocker early, from any hit whatsoever, Raiden can still get a shit ton of damage in. But yeah, I would say Kano is the ideal pick. He's not doing that much damage. Someone like Striker is better to just raw damage, but the viability Striker's bombs give you on block is not as good as Kano. So I would say Kano is the best one for Raiden. And I do feel like I was way too harsh on Kano actually. I said he was pretty bad bottom 5. I do feel like this game is actually a contender for top 5 now because of the amount of value he got thanks to Cyrax getting nerfed. But yeah, of course, Raiden is nowhere near what he was. When he was at his peak, like before the Cyrax nerfs and his own nerfs, he was here. He was better than everyone else, I would argue. Either him or Johnny were the best characters in the game. One of these two, just completely cracked. Now I would say Kung Lao, Giras, Kenshi, and Johnny are all better than him, but he's still a very powerful character. I don't think he's top 5, but he is strong. Very, very strong. I do think he's considerably better than these two, so I'm putting him here, in this tier. And next up we have Rain. Rain, I will say, pretty good. I feel like he was also significantly hurt by the Cyrax nerfs, and I do feel like the reason Sonic Fox managed to actually make such a statement with Rain dominate the tournament as he did was just because of matchup knowledge. Like the many something Sonic really uses a lot is just like doing the geyser on block into Cyrax. That's what he did. But the problem with that is the geyser is actually not a true block stack. You can armor through it, you can do an invincible move through it. So there is counterplay to a lot of the shit Sonic was doing, but still, this character is very powerful. I don't want to underestimate him or anything. One of the best mix-up characters in this game. He has so many things you need to keep in mind, like the soft feint into a grab, the low starter, the overhead starter, the combo from grabs. But here again, the Cyrax nerf really hurts him because Cyrax is his ideal cameo for sure. Still, I do think Cyrax is the best one. I still need to lab him, let's say, with someone like Striker, but I do feel like Cyrax is still the best. What Cyrax is giving you on hit, nobody is giving, and on block he was exceptional, but the Cyrax nerf were way overdone, in my opinion. Like, the cooldown nerf is abysmal. Ridiculous. Honestly, pretty unnecessary as far as I think. So yeah, Rain, very good character. As far as the ideal cameos go, I do feel like it's still Cyrax. Very good character. One of the coolest looking in the game, if not straight up the coolest one. Very fun to play. I enjoy fighting against them personally, so yeah, I do feel like it's pretty good, but he could use some buffs, for sure. Like all of these, I say again, all of these, including like Raiden, all of them can actually use some buffs. Raiden can actually escape this with no buffs because he still has a lot of good tools in his kit, but I do feel like Raiden needs some hitbox buffs, like his range is very bad, and the speed of his projectiles needs adjustments, it's too slow. But regardless, I do feel like it's pretty good. They actually nerfed him in some way, like the big ass lightning ball he does now has a changed hit reaction that really hurts some of his optimal combos in the corner, but it's just a reduced like 5 or 7% damage, which is significant but not that significant. So he's still very good. Very good character, but he's not as good as he was before the nerfs, just because of Cyrax. Reptile. He's very underrated, to be honest. I don't feel like he's a bad character or anything like that. Where do I put him here? I do feel like these three can actually be interchangeable, so choose whatever you want. Really, I don't feel like it's that much of a change, but as for where I put him, just because of the amount of people I've been seeing using Reptile, which is all close to zero, I will put him here, but actually, consider the damage output he gets is actually very good. He has some of the highest damage in the game, actually, meterless. He's doing a shit ton. Like, he's doing like 38 for many hit meterless, which is absolutely insane. So yeah, Reptile actually has a lot of good damage output. He has a very good low, insanely good low, insane hitbox, very good range. He has a fast overhead that shouldn't be punishable on block, but is unfortunately. Damage is very good again. The invincibility, the EX version, is actually very fast now, so you can make it work very well. As for who I would use for this guy, I feel like Sarina is an ideal pick because the dash he has actually recovers very quickly, so you can throw Sarina out from full screen and like dash at their face before you can, because you can recover faster from Sarina once she's still on screen. So we can make a lot of cool stuff with these two, and of course it just amplifies damage. But yeah, Reptile is pretty solid. He's nothing spectacular. I do feel like he needs some buffs, but he is a very good character. He's not a very good character. He's solid. He is nothing too special. Again, these are good characters. These are very good characters. These are solid characters. These are meh, and these are just bad. Just flat up, I feel bad. So, yeah. Next up, we have Scorpion, the worst character in the game. Scorpion is terrible. Terrible. Scorpion's biggest issue is just mix-ups. He lacks them significantly. He has pretty much no lows whatsoever in his kit. The only low he has is back 3, which is terrible and never use it. Very good range, which is like, it's misleading, but the range is good, but the character is actually, the button is horrible. Very punishable on block, like even from the max range it can hit you from. You can jump over it on reaction and get a free jump in full combo punish. What else can you say about this guy? His damage output is actually pretty high from the good starters, but because you can never get them, because it's a very slow mid that is a launcher, actually getting it at the beginning of the combo is borderline impossible. Unless your opponent really fucked up badly. So this guy really has to just commit to whiff punishes with the spear and with the standing 2, or just to anti-airs, but he's still very bad. And now even the sort of viability you could say he had with Cyrax, which wasn't very good to begin with, like the spin into Cyrax, now even that's gone because Cyrax is no longer usable on block almost. So yeah, Scorpion is in the trenches. He really needs help. All three of these really could use some heavy buffs. Actually, I just put these two in okay, I guess, because yeah, let me just put them here because I feel like they're both better than Scorpion by a pretty wide margin. Actually, Scorpion is just very bad. I do feel like Scorpion is just very bad, to be honest. Next up we have Shang Tsung. Shang Tsung, solid, I suppose. I don't feel like it's too bad or anything. Very solid damage actually in the old form. He's getting 38% from any hit, really. The body steal shenanigans are very useful in this game because you can actually steal them in very practical ways. Like the transform takes almost zero time in this game. You can transform from the syringe move, the EX version, and if you use the right cameo, you can actually combo off of it. So you can do a lot of good stuff with this guy. He again has very good damage. He's a very good zoner, one of the best ones in the game. The scores are insane. He's a very good disrespect character, which I just feel like is important to mention because it's hilarious. Like the skulls can really be used to just troll people. Like just if you've seen the Ninja Killer combo on Twitter, just he did pretty much 99 skulls in the same combo. Insane, very very fun. So yeah, I really like this character. He's really really cool. I haven't seen too many Shanks in high level, but I do feel like he's a pretty solid character all around. He's not bad, but he's not too crazy or anything. Could also use some buffs, but he's pretty decent. Sindel, she's solid. I don't feel like she's too bad or anything like that, but she's not good either. She's not really good either. Like she has really good range, but she has really good range and solid hitboxes. But her damage output is actually pretty lacking. She doesn't really do a lot of damage. Her damage is pretty mid. On block, she really struggles to open people up. Like the only thing you need to be careful of is overheads because the only low, the first hit is a low. Actually, the only low I'm pretty sure she has in her kit, other than the launcher. And let's be real, nobody's getting hit by that on block. But the only low she has is her back three, which is the worst button in the game by far. Terrible, doesn't lead to combos even with cameos. Very, very slow and reactable. Minus 25 on block, trash button, never use it. So yeah, I feel like she's pretty decent, but the cameo stealing should be much better. It's pretty much unpractical at all. You can't really use it in real matches, so she could really use some help. Oh, cameos, I forgot. Ideal cameos. Scorpio now is Jesus. I do feel like there's no cameo that really helps him that much. You could use Sector. Sector could be a very solid option, but even Sector can't really help that much. He really needs buffs. He's not a very good character at all. You could use Sarina as well, just try and play the neutral game. Shang Tsung. Best cameo is more easily Kung Lao. Just maximize the zoning game, the keep away game. That's the biggest strength of this character. He's a very powerful zoner. So using the enhanced buster, you can really set up some nice stuff. Just insanely annoying zoning. That's the best thing you can set up. And yeah, I just feel like it is the ideal cameo for this guy. Just also to keep himself plus. He doesn't really have any options to keep himself plus on block, so that really helps. As for Sindel, I've seen many people gravitate towards using Sub-Zero. I understand that. I feel like the ideal pick is actually Sarina because she's also a very good zoner and has a lot of range, so maximizing the neutral game in the combo damage that she lacks is pretty good. So yeah, Sarina is a solid option for her as well. Sarina is solid for most of their cast actually. Smoke, very good character. Actually, he's strong. He's not even pretty good. He's strong. Actually, he's in the caliber of these guys. Yes, after seeing him in high level, I will say he is. The other characters got nerfed and he is just the same. He's still very good. Damage output is very solid with this guy. Very solid damage output. Using Kung Lao, you can set up insanely tough to block stuff. You can really set up the invisibility as well, like setting up some insane invisibility setups. In general, the invisibility on this guy is actually very, very powerful. Like, it's practical in real matches. It's not like it's trash or something. So, yeah, very, very solid character. Very good damage. The cancels are actually really annoying to deal with. They're very tough. He's pretty hard to block, this guy. It's tough to block him, very tough. When he goes invisible, you just have to pray and guess or just smash. This is their best bet. So, yeah, I just feel like he's good. He's very, very good, actually. I do feel like he's strong. He's a strong character. He can stay as he is right now, and they can buff everybody else significantly, and I do feel like he will stay, actually, at a very solid range. So I don't feel like he's a bad character by any means. He's solid. Very good anti-zoner as well with his teleport that is annoying to deal with. He has, in my opinion, an even more broken armor wake up than Kung Lao. Because even if you read it, he just goes invisible and appears behind you like he does normally, which is completely stupid because he can do a jumping pretty much frame one after that. So you really can't even attack him. Even if I read he's gonna go for an armor and jump over him or something like that, I'm still in trouble. Like he's invisible and right in my face. I have to block now. So yeah, that's the most annoying armor wake up to deal with in the game, and that's why all smokes smash the shit out of it. They just spam it every time. So yeah, very, very powerful character. I hate his armor and I hate Kung Lao's armor. The only two things in this game that need nerfs, other than Johnny's friend that I maybe Kenchi's damage in Sento, the only things I would nerf is actually these two's armor wake-ups. They are way too good, both of them. Way, way too good. The armor on Smoke, it shouldn't go invisible if you're using it on wake up. If it's used on wake up or as a reversal, it should not go invisible, even if you don't attack. Even if you don't armor through anything, it shouldn't be invisible. It's just completely stupid. I really hate it. That's a problem I have with the majority of this game. Actually, just there are many many tools in this game that are just built in the mindset of just how can I prevent this guy from blocking. This is how they designed them with that mindset. Just how can I prevent blocking as much as possible, and I don't like that. Like characters that really thrive on the pressure, they really really struggle with that because there are so many gaps and strings in this game. Way too many gaps. and the reversal attacks are way too good. So, yeah, I just really don't like it. Sub-Zero, no, I don't feel it. He's trash, let's be real. Both of them are trash. The most iconic characters in the series, and both of them are trash. But at least they're trash together, just like true brothers. So yeah, I do feel like Sub-Zero is better than Scorpion just thanks to Kung Lao, but Sub-Zero's damage is abysmal. I feel like we all know that by now. He has the lowest damage output in the entire game, but he can at least play neutral decently using Kung Lao. He can have some form of mix-up with the Kung Lao low hat and he can stay safe, which is a virtue Scorpion even doesn't have. Like he has no mix-ups at all, so even staying safe doesn't help. So yeah, I do feel like Sub-Zero is better than Scorpion, and both of them really need Jesus. They're both really bad. Really, really bad. Next up we have Tanya. Tanya. Tanya is a very good character. Where do I put her? I feel like she comfortably slides in here. Like something here. I'm pretty sure she actually got buffed. Like she had a lot of changes done to her, but most of them were just bug fixes and hit reaction adjustments that weren't really that impressive or anything like that, but she didn't really get buffed. She's kind of the same. All characters in the roster really didn't get buffed. They're pretty much the same. So yeah, she's still solid. I feel like she was top 10 before this and she's still top 10 now. So yeah, she's just a very solid character. I don't feel like there's much else to be said about her. She's solid. I don't feel like there's much of an argument to be said about that. She has insanely powerful range, probably the best range in the game, maybe only second to Ashra. She can play neutral very well with her enhanced dashing normals with the move where she summons a portal on her back. The teleport can be useful. She can get insanely good whiff punishes with her standing free, which is insane rage again. She has, just like Kung Lao, the annoying armor wake up shenanigans with the Goro cameo. Just you can keep yourself plus after an armor, which is extremely annoying and I hate it. So yeah, she's just a very solid character. Only issue with her damage is actually not that good. It's decent, it's average, but it's nothing too spectacular. The characters like Rain, Giras, Kung Lao, Raiden, Smoke, Kenshi, Johnny all do very good damage. She's the only one of the top 10 that doesn't really have very good damage. Next up we have Nitara. Actually, she got a very interesting buff. Like she can just now use the lifesteal much more efficiently. Like the move where she like damages herself only does five damage now. It doesn't hurt her very bad, but it still could use some buffs. She's much better than these two, though. I'm not gonna put her here. She's better. And just put them in Norway as well, man. I don't. Is there a reason for this tier to exist? Not really. Not really. No. Let me delete it. I'll just delete this. Like, what the fuck did I do? What did I do? There we go. Just let me just put these two here and delete this tier right here. Just it has no usage. Just be real. So yeah, as for the ordering of these guys, I feel like this is a pretty accurate order. As for where Nitara stands, I feel like she could be here. With Kung Lao Kemen, she's actually a menace to deal with. Her mobility is insanely powerful, so I'm gonna actually put her here. I do feel like she's better than Sindel. She is decent, let's be real. I don't feel like she's bad or anything like that. I feel like she could really use some buffs, of course. All characters in the roster, again, I will mention, they all could use some buffs. Everybody. There is no character in this roster that doesn't need some buffs. Oh, it shrunk the tier list. Never mind, whatever. So yeah, all characters in the roster could actually use some buffs in my opinion, except for like the guys here. They can escape without buffs and they'll be pretty decent still, but this guy can also escape it, but this girl, she can also escape it, but I could really say I would feel like most of the roster actually needs buffs. Even some of the characters here could use some buffs in some form. So yeah. So Nitara, very very powerful mobility. That's the thing, just keeping her over the water. Really, like her mobility is absolutely cracked. Best mobility in the game by far. She can close the distance very very quickly. The lifesteal shenanigans she has are actually very good now. But major problem I have with this character is for some reason she has 900 HP, by far the lowest amount in the game, which is kind of stupid. The lifesteal she has is nowhere near powerful enough to actually make it so it's worth it. Just it has no reason to be 900. I would accept 950 maybe. Gira says 950 and has a much more powerful healing effect than Nitara has. So yeah, no reason to actually make her have 900 HP baseline. But the guy, she's decent. Reiko, that's a goofy picture. Let me just get the real one. Reiko's solid. I don't feel like he's bad or anything like that. I would put him actually here. Honestly, let me just put him here. He's a zoner, but he's a better zoner than this guy. Again, I will say these guys here are pretty interchangeable in my opinion. I do feel like you can interchange them. These two are also interchangeable. I will say Tanya is probably better than Liu Kang, but you can also put him like here if you want to. As for where I will put things, I do feel like Liu Kang might be better than Melina, but I will keep it like this. Again, this is all interchangeable. I am telling you. Like All of this is pretty much interchangeable, other than the strong tier, where I feel like I'm ordering it pretty well right now. But yeah. So yeah, Nitara, very good mobility, solid. Kung Lao cameo ideal pick, of course. Sub-Zero ideal cameo pick is Jesus. But regardless, just Kung Lao cameo is the best one. Just keep yourself safe. Shang Tsung, Kung Lao, of course. Smoke, Kung Lao. You can see a pattern. Everybody use Kung Lao. Reiko. Ideal cameo for this guy would actually be maybe even Sub-Zero, to be honest. Just Darius, the command grab combo now doesn't do a lot at all, a lot of damage. It's not really worth it to go for it at all, in my opinion. And Darius is a terrible cameo right now, so using Darius in general is very, very risky. I don't feel like it's a very good thing to do for yourself, like for your own personal good. Even though he's extremely cool and probably my favorite cameo in the game, after this guy. But still. So yeah, Reiko is just he needs to commit to being a zoner now. He can really play the keep away game very good. The shurikens are an insanely powerful projectile, and he has very very long reaching normals with insanely good hitboxes, like the laser kicks. So he just needs to capitalize off of that. He really doesn't have tools to do anything else very good. So yeah, I feel like that's a pretty accurate placement for that guy. He is not very good. All of he can use some buffs as well. Again, everybody can use some buffs. As much as I hate him, honestly, I hate his command grab bullshit, but I do feel like they shouldn't have nerfed the damage. They gave him a scaling nerf from his command grab, which is completely stupid. Like, that's the only tool this guy had to actually make him some sort of a threat on block, but now he's doing 30% for spending a full cameo gauge with Darius and 1 bar. So, yeah, no, not really good, is it? Before that, it was 40% and 60% almost for 2 bars, so it was actually a menace. But now, you're not even afraid of it anymore. Like, I will eat the damage, why not you? You're spending the only cameo charge you're gonna get in the entire match. So yeah, I do feel like if Darius was much better, this guy would be a menace. Like, if Darius' kick was better, this guy's Komenga would be an issue. But nah, as of right now, he's just a strong zoner, but that's it. He has nothing else. Ashra. Damn, she's good, man. I'm putting her at number 2. I do feel like she's better than Kenshi. She is an insanely powerful character. She pretty much was not nerfed. Only thing she got changed is if you up block her forward 3, it's now not special cancelable, so it's actually punishable. But I mean, it's not really significant for this character. She's still the best turtling character in the game. Using someone like Sarina or Kung Lao, she can just play the mid-range the best in the entire game by far. She has the best normals in the game. Like, other than Johnny's frame rate just being completely stupid. When we're talking range and hitboxes, she's easily the number 1 character in the game, and it's not even close. She has probably the best damage output in the game, considering how practical it is. Any hit this character is doing like 40% for 1 bar. Pretty much every string she has in her kit. Especially when you use Sarina. So, yeah, insanely high damage output, very, very good frame data, insanely good hitboxes, insanely good range, insane damage again, like the best projectile in the game by far, the bullshit energy wave, whatever. Just insanely powerful bullshit. She has the best button in the game by far, which is forward 2, which is completely busted. Either that or Johnny, actually Johnny's mid is better. Johnny's forward 3 is the best button in the game, but that's a close second. So yeah, she's insanely powerful. I do feel like she's better than Kenshi, mainly because just how good her matchup against Kenshi is actually. Like, she's a very good counter pick to Kenshi. Kenshi struggles against her because Kenshi really plays the footsies game and the wish punishing game, and she does it even better than him. So yeah, she's insanely powerful. And finally we have Baraka. Damn, that is. Where do I put him? I don't feel like he's here. I don't feel like all of these characters are better than him. Pretty decent spot is here, I'm pretty sure. Like, Baraka's placement, I feel like this is a pretty good placement for him. I do feel like Tanya is better than him now. I feel like Rain is better. Again, you can interchange them. I do feel like Rain is actually pretty decently better than him, but again, I feel like it's just the matchup knowledge stuff. Like, I feel like once people know the matchup against Rain better, they could deal with the match easier. Just learn the counterplay, but right now people don't really know that. Don't really know this character's weaknesses, and he has multiple. But where I put Baraka, you can really argue he's like here. You can argue he's here. I personally put him here. I struggle against the other two much more now. He still has his insanely powerful armor break strength. His damage is actually pretty bad now, believe it or not. I know it sounds crazy saying it about Baraka, but his damage is not good at all. Like, even when you spend Cyrax in 2 bars, he's doing 42% in the corner, which is terrible, considering what he was doing before that. So, 42 to 45 if you optimize it. So, yeah, the damage is not very good now. It's actually average, nothing more than that. Block strings. Now that he doesn't have Cyrax, he really struggles. Like, he still uses Cyrax. It's the only cameo pick this character really has. He doesn't really have other options, honestly. But still, You could actually make Kano work with him. You could possibly even make Kano work with him as well, honestly. Kano might be striker, but still, regardless, without out of the way, just the scaling nerfs he got were abysmal for him. Like, he's not doing a lot of damage now at all. Like, actually, if you go meterless combos, he's like not even breaking 30% now. The scaling nerfs were actually insanely prominent on this guy. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. Again, optimal cameo for this guy, Cyrax. So, yeah, this is how I would go about the tier list. I do feel like this is actually pretty accurate placings. As for the top 5, I do feel like this is the top 5. I think that's the top 5. I feel it pretty comfortable with that as it is right now. Actually, do I need to push? Let me just put a separate tier just to arrange it better. I'll just put a tier right here. Let's call it top 5. I'll keep strong here. Number 1 is Johnny. Number 2, Ashra. Number 3, Kenshi, Giras, and Kung Lao. As for Giras and Kung Lao, I do feel like they're very, very close to be honest, but who do I give the edge to? I will give it to Giras. Once you actually know how to use this guy well, you really can't get hit. Like the breaker, the self breaker is absolutely crazy. It's cracked. So yeah, let me just put him actually here. Like I do feel like Rain is strong. I feel like that's a pretty accurate placement to be honest. Like that's the best I can do. I don't feel like there's much argument here. Again, I would just want to mention before I wrap this video up because it's like 46 minutes long by now. Um, I just want to mention again, this is only my opinion, and much of this is interchangeable. Other than the top 5, the top 3 is non-negotiable. These 3 are easily the top 3 in the game. You can't argue for that. If you want to argue for the order, fine. I do feel like Johnny is comfortably number 1. These 2, you can maybe interchange them. Personally, I do think Ashra is better. Her matchups are better, much better. She doesn't struggle against any character in this game. She's just insanely good against everyone, really. Completely busted character by herself. Insane kid. Giras and Kung Lao, you can interchange them as you'd like. I do give the edge to Giras. As much as I hate dealing with Kung Lao's armored nonsense, bar is not limitless, and he's spending 1 bar to have a safe armor launcher. Giras is spending 1 bar to have a breaker. So I do feel like Giras is a bit more powerful. The self breaker is honestly cracked. That's just insane. These 3, interchange them as you'd like. I don't feel like there's much argument here. I do feel like these 2 are better than Rain, but I do feel like Rain is better than these 4. So I put them in a separate tier with these 2. Here you can really interchange all of them if you want to. I don't really have arguments. Same really goes for this one. Interchange them as you like. And this one, other than the bottoms 2 being these 2, which is non-negotiable, you can interchange these 2 as well. Maybe you can put them up. I feel like that's a pretty comfortable tier list. As for Goofy Reiko, let's put him here. Actually, no reason to include him. He's a trash character. So yeah, guys, this is my tier. Sorry if it took me a bit too long. I was trying to cover everything and just make sure I have explanations for every placement I do. I think I did pretty damn good, to be honest. That is just the meta picture as I see it right now. To be honest, not much has changed. Just Baraka and Raiden lost their 2 places in the top 5, so the others were already competing for it. They just got up in stocks. So yeah, actually Baraka over Melina and Luke. Again, you can interchange. I don't want to sit there for a while because if I sit here for an hour more, I can of course interchange some things here. Put him over him, maybe put him over him. I don't know. Regardless, I'm pretty confident in this one. I'm comfortable with the placings. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, I will see you in the next one.